Yeah.
So I get press conference. कित्याचेर based झाले? On what based it is?
Today's press conference was essentially based on giving the details to the press and the electronic media of Goa about the winners, all 543 winners of the Lok Sabha election. Because I was here, I think on 6th of, not 6th, sometimes by 29th of April perhaps, to give you the details of the candidates across the country and in Goa specifically. 16 candidates were there in Goa. So I came at that point in time, which I normally do. We bring in the data of all the candidates to you, and also when the elections are over and everything is down and dusted, we come back to tell you, look, what's happening in the country. We have these kind of winners. So that's our objective. So we only work on 3 parameters: education, assets and liabilities, and criminal record, if any. And we started our activity, ADR started its activity way back in 1998. We were about 6 professors of IIM Ahmedabad, and we were students those days in 1998. So about 5-6 students and about 5-6 professors came together, because those were the days when we had Bofors and other things happening in the country, and there was no answerability. So we decided, kiti tari korung jai. We say in the company, kiti tari ami korung jai. So kiti karab, we were not very sure. So we got hold of some advocates of High Court. They said, well, the best thing is you file a PIL in Delhi, and you as individuals can't file because it will not have much say. So best thing is you form a group or association or something, and then you file a PIL. It will have a more weightage. So we felt yes, because this is something genuine. We decided to go to Delhi and file a PIL. We had to contribute ourselves those days from our own salaries or money that we made from whatever from whatever income that we had, and we filed the PIL. Fortunately, we had an advocate who didn't charge us any money, because they say that this is something in the interest of the country. Let's get going on that. High Court, at the end of a lot of deliberations, gave it in our favor against Government of India. Obviously, Government of India went to Supreme Court, saying that this is personal information. How can we give the information about education or a criminal record or how much asset? This is all personal. This thing, and the other outside world did not have this information at all. Supreme Court, in its wisdom, reiterated the stand which was taken by High Court and said that if you want to be public servant, you better give all your information so that the voters have informed choice. So this was very, very clear. When Supreme Court gave this verdict, the entire the party in the government, party in the opposition, everyone, perhaps all 543 members went to the president, saying that this is not on. It's too much of this thing. President, we met President, good old days. Dr. Abdul Kalam was the president. We had some colleagues of ours who were working under him in DRDO. It helped. He gave us to start with 15 minutes. The meeting lasted for 4 hours. That was the kind of interest that he took. He said, I can send it back, this kind of proposal, to the government or to the parliament, but if they make the modifications and this thing and send it back to me, I have no way to really say no. I will have to give it my concurrence and say, okay, it's fine. We were not very sure how to go about, but ultimately we went to Supreme Court. They said, this is going on for years. This is contempt of court. You have given a directive and this is not happening. Supreme Court, after a lot of deliberations, said yes, contempt of court. And from then, 2002, August 22nd or something, government decided, yes, we should have the affidavit signed before someone contests the elections. Before that, before 2002, they were not there. So largely because of our effort, perhaps, the things happened and we started having affidavits. They were modified over the period of time because we gave a lot of feedback to ECI. Election Commission of India is supposed to do that. They have done that and done it well. So that's how it is. And then what we do now, the Supreme Court has clearly told ECI, Election Commission of India, that within 48 hours it should be put on the website and also give a copy to ADR. Now, moment we get this copy, we prepare our this thing. We have the software for handling this in Delhi. Our headquarters are in Delhi. And by virtue of me being from Goa, I'm Goankar. So they said, you so we don't have big funds and all. So we just work within our limited resources and do this activity.
So, yeah, regarding the criminal record, what you said, day by day, every election it is increasing, and now the serious criminal record is become 31%.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the Supreme Court has to take some action on this? If there is some cases is pending in the court, so it has to be moved in the fast track or something like that, and give a decision to the
very
state.
Ideal that especially the kind of case, especially those who guys are either out of this 543, in those cases should be done fast forward. Otherwise, what can happen is, if they are going to last for 10 years or 15 years or something, the guy will anyway finish 5 years of his in Lok Sabha, and next elections he is not assured also whether he is going to contest or win. So it should happen, and it should be very loud and made public so that people understand the ramifications of it.
So how you think about this time's election? It was a close fight with the democracy, both party, leading party, and
while I will have limitations as India, we don't normally talk about political parties per se. We don't talk about say, BJP or JDU or Congress or this. We don't talk. We talk about winners at large, candidates at large, their antecedents, means whether they have criminal cases or this or that. Comment, my dear friend. See, I just give a reflection of what I have in mind. When I spoke about Madhu Dandavati, I knew exactly how he has lived his life. Or for that matter, even George Fernandez. They could have been more comfortable, but well, because when Madhu Dandavati was invited for becoming part of Vajpayee's cabinet, he got a phone call when he was washing his own clothes at home. Okay. And those days it was not washing machine, brush mark was so those are the things which if you remember, then think, and if every voter remembers, their life can be different. Yes.
ओके. आणि दुसरं सर अनेक म्हणजे क्रिमिनल केसेस कॅन्डिडेट वाढत आहेत 35%, 31%.
सिरियस.
मग त्यासाठी तुम्ही ACI ला किंवा पार्टी बेसला तुम्ही काय विनंती अश्युरन्स करू?
नाही, विनंती हॅज नो मिनिंग बेसिकली. आय टेल यू व्हॉट. Should I answer in Marathi or English?
No, English.
Mix is okay, right? So what happens is every party looks at winnability today, and someone may say I am holier than the other fellow. Well, with reservation. But what happens is winnability. Winnability, unfortunately, at all cost. If it is pure winnability, then it's a different thing. When it is winnability at all cost, then it's a little tough thing, and that's it. It has been proven by Indian voters, and I point out to voters all the time because I'm one of them. I can't talk on behalf of the government or something because I have no role. So, as a voter, I should know whom am I voting. Does that guy having any criminal antecedents? And if everyone, सगळे जर जॉईन झाले आणि डिसाईड केले की बाबा क्रिमिनलाक वोट करप ना, बऱ्या मनशाक करूया, ओके, जाल्यार ऑटोमॅटिकली इवन द पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज विल थिंक ऑन दोज लाइन्स की अरे बाबा people have changed their mind, let's put some better candidate rather than a criminal.
Okay. Sir, this elections now, before the elections, ADR had highlighted this electoral bonds. Okay, it became very big thing, and of course, at last they released the data on electoral bonds. Do you think all that also contributed to made an impact on how people voted this time?
Too early to say. See, there are a lot of issues which people talk about. I'm not very sure that whether we can highlight only one issue or two issues or three issues. It's a combination of so many factors, perhaps, which has been responsible for. And see, what also which comes to this thing is whether any factor has played a role at all. Or it is just that this is what was expected to happen, and because it was pitched at 400 or whatever figure, everyone started believing that it's going to be 400, and from there we have some other result, and hence we feel a shock or a surprise. But there's always that shelf life, life cycle. So you have reached the pinnacle, and then sometimes you come down, and that's known as product life cycle. But you can come back. See, if you look at Gujarat, 2002, despite whatever had happened, and it was perceived that the government was involved somehow. It was not so. Supreme Court then decided otherwise. But it went up, and then around the time Modi came to Delhi, it came down a bit. Then again they took up, is a different story, but it did come down. Okay, so you don't really know why it's happening. If you look at even say the earlier governments, or 2004, and I'm just giving you this thing because I'm not talking about any political party here, but 2004 to 2009, the numbers increased for the government to about 260 odd or something.
So what is your view on exit polls per se this time? So
I think most of the political parties are looking for those guys who.
So even
and they are in hiding.
One thing was, do you think it was something related to do with what happened in the share market also?
No, share market had a knee-jerk reaction. You are recording it, but see, I invest in shares. Both the things were knee-jerk reactions. Knee-jerk reaction म्हणजे खंयचे एक ते पयली दिसा 4th of June was a knee-jerk reaction. 5th of June that it recovered by about 2% was also expected. So on 4th of June by afternoon I had invested to earn something on 5th of June because I was very sure that it will increase the next day because the reaction was not required. But what happened for the people perhaps is they didn't think because the results were not out by say normally the market closes at 3:30. By 3:30 they were in limbo. They didn't know whether the BJP will again or that NDA will form the government or not, which looks likely now. But it did look that it is in limbo. So that's where there was a panic reaction in the market. Which one? About political parties per se. We don't talk about say, BJP or JDU or Congress or we don't talk. We talk about winners at large, candidates at large, their antecedents, means whether they have criminal cases or this or that. Ideal. I mean, what has happened perhaps is good because, but we have to see what has to happen is stability. Stability of a government is a direct reflection of stability of the country. Okay, so the decisions sometimes are taken independently. Right, wrong is a different thing. So if we are assured of stability, then there is no issue. Then it's good to have a strong opposition. A democracy should always have a strong opposition. Not necessarily in numbers. When I say strong opposition, even in terms of quality. I remember the days of, in 1967, 72 election, I mean the 67 election, we had about 5-6 guys, but they're so powerful in opposition. Barrister Nath Pai, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Madhu Dandavati, George Fernandez. So these were the guys who would keep the government on the tenterhooks, on their toes. 8 to 10 of them, good enough. So it's not about only the quantity. I mean, if quantity is there, fine. Quality also matters.
Okay. तर आता तुम्ही आता जे बोलला का नाही नावाची आता तुम्ही जे बोलला जी नावं घेतला आणि सध्याची जी परिस्थिती आहे.
I wouldn't want to comment. In my personal capacity, I can comment always, but it will be good in the interest of the country that it lasts.
सर आता चढशे आता उत्तर प्रदेशचे जे वोटिंग झाला आता जे अनालिसिस करतात ते जातीचे झाला जातीचे डिवायडेशन झाला आता सेक्युलर आमच्या भारतात जातीचे डिवायडेशन जर वोटिंग जावपाक लागले तर ते कितलेशे जातले
या रिग्रेसिव्ह जातीचेर जाला काय कितें आय हॅव नो आयडिया बट जाला जाल्यार इट इज नॉट अ गुड थिंग टू हॅपन व्हेरी सिंपल सी वी should vote for a candidate rather than a political party to start with. And we should have a qualified good candidate with this thing.
सर एक छोटासा डाटा गेल्या 15-20 वर्षातील एकदम कमी ॲसेट असलेला गोव्यातील कॅन्डिडेट आणि आतापर्यंतचा रिचेस्ट कॅन्डिडेट तो डाटा काय सांगा
सॉरी पार्लमेंट इलेक्शन
या दिस पार्लमेंट
Offhand, I won't have answer to this question. I can get you the data. मुझे 2004 पासून I can get you the data. It is there in myneta.info.
Okay.
myneta.info is our website.
Okay.
You go to that and you will go to Goa.
Okay.
And you will get all the information. For assembly also and this thing right from 2004 you will get it.
So what
Shall we